Detectives say the evidence shows that a man shot a woman, 2 children, and then himself. They say they found this family of 4 dead after the family's babysitter called 911 for a welfare check to this home right across the street from where we are now.
They hadn't heard from the family since.
So she wanted to go inside the house?
Right. There was concerns because they hadn't heard from the family.
What if everything you think you know about this case is exactly what someone needed you to believe? What if the man investigators named as the suspect was not the person responsible, but the person chosen to take that responsibility? Chosen because his profile made sense. Because his position in that family made the story believable. Because a grieving community and a fast-moving news cycle would accept the first answer that felt logical and never look hard enough for a second one. What if the real story behind what happened on Kingston Street on Sunday night has nothing to do with a husband who reached a breaking point, and everything to do with someone who understood that family's world well enough to walk into that house, take 4 lives, place a firearm in a dead man's hand, and walk back out into a city that would never think to look for them? That is not the profile of a closed case. That is the profile of a case where someone did their homework. The outlets that covered this story stopped at the first answer. The channels that reported on it never pushed past the official statement. And the public moved on because the narrative they were given was clean enough to accept. But clean narratives in cases like this one are not always the product of clear evidence. Sometimes they are the product of careful planning by someone who understood exactly how investigators, journalists, and the public process a tragedy, and used that understanding to make sure the right questions never got loud enough to matter. Every question this case demands has been sitting in the public record unanswered. I have the answers now and I am just getting started. Here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. The confirmed facts in this case, not the theories, not the speculation, the confirmed, documented, verified facts, are already enough to hold this investigation open. You do not need a conspiracy. You do not need a villain. You only need to read what the evidence actually says and notice what it does not explain. There is a man whose entire documented life history is the opposite of someone who snaps. There is an 18-hour window that no one has explained. There is a babysitter who has never been named, never been quoted, and never been publicly examined beyond the 4 words used to describe her role, the one who called. I would love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what you think about this case, because what this video is about to lay out, methodically, accurately, and entirely from the confirmed record, is the examination of this case that nobody else has been willing to do. Also let us know in the comments section where you are watching from. Now, I have covered a lot of cases on this channel. Cases where the evidence was messy, where the timeline was fractured, where investigators had to fight for every single answer. But this one is different. What makes the Mitchell case different is not how complicated it is. It is how clean the official version is. Too clean. The kind of clean that only happens in one of 2 situations. Either everything is exactly as it appears or someone made sure it would look that way. And the longer I have sat with the confirmed record in this case, the more that second possibility refuses to leave the room. I'm not here to tell you Matthew Mitchell was innocent. I'm not here to tell you he was guilty. I am here to tell you that the public record, the confirmed, sourced, verifiable public record, does not yet support the certainty with which this case was presented to the world in less than a day. And nobody, not the outlets that covered it, not the channels that reported it, not the investigators who closed it publicly within 24 hours of walking through that door, nobody has sat down and asked every question this case demands. Nobody except this channel. So if you are new here, subscribe right now. Hit that bell. Because what we are about to walk through are not just theories. It is a methodical, evidence-based examination of a case that the world moved past far too quickly. And by the time this series is done, you will understand exactly why that matters. Let's get into it. There is one person in this entire case who has been right in front of us from the very beginning. Mentioned in every single news report that covered this story. Given exactly 1 sentence. And then completely forgotten. The babysitter. Here is what is confirmed. The welfare check on Monday, May 4th was placed by 2 people, the Mitchell family's babysitter and thy sister, Lai Mai. That is in HPD's own public statement. Both of them had not heard from the family since Sunday night. That is where every report stops. 1 sentence. And then nothing. But that 1 sentence contains more unanswered questions than anything else in the public record of this case. Start with the most basic one. The one no outlet has answered. Who called first? Was it Lai Mai who reached out after not hearing from her sister? Or was it the babysitter who picked up the phone first and said, "Something is wrong, I have not heard from them since last night"? That is not a minor detail. It is the difference between 2 completely different stories. If lie am I called first, the babysitter's role is secondary. A confirming voice. But if the babysitter called first, if she was the one who initiated that alarm before anyone in thy own family had registered the silence as dangerous, then she was the first person in the world to know this family was gone. Before the sister. Before the friends. Before anyone else in a circle of hundreds of people who knew and loved them. That kind of early, independent recognition does not come from a casual working relationship. It comes from someone who knew this family's patterns so precisely that a specific silence on a specific night crossed a threshold that nobody else had reached yet. Now think about what else that level of familiarity would have given her. A babysitter working regularly inside the Mitchell home would have known that house intimately. The layout. The children's rooms. The security system. The entry codes. She would have known how quickly they responded to messages, under what circumstances she went quiet, and what a missed text actually meant in the context of a normal week. She would have known the emotional atmosphere of that household in the days before Sunday night. Whether anything felt different. Whether anything had shifted. That is not a small amount of knowledge. That is detailed, intimate knowledge of a family's private world. Now I want to be precise. Because precision matters here. There is no publicly available evidence connecting this woman to any wrongdoing. None. She has not been named as a suspect. She has not been identified as a person of interest. The possibility that she is simply someone who loved this family deeply and whose instinct on Monday afternoon was an act of genuine care, that is entirely real and must be respected. But she has not been publicly cleared either. Her name has not been released. Her account of Sunday night has not been shared. No reporting has confirmed that her whereabouts between Sunday night and Monday afternoon were formally verified. No source has stated that her phone records were examined or that her account was fully checked against the physical evidence inside that home. In an investigation that reached its public conclusion within 24 hours, the most important living witness to this family's private world has been given one sentence and then removed from the public record entirely. And that matters. Because this woman knew things about the Mitchell family that no investigator, no journalist, and no public account has yet accessed. She knew the inside of that house. She knew those children. She knew what normal looked like for that family on a Sunday night. And she knew before anyone else did, that this particular Sunday night was not normal. If the official story is correct, her account of the days leading up to Sunday night is the most valuable witness testimony this investigation has. It should be part of the public record. If the official story is not correct, her position in this case becomes something else entirely. Someone with access to the home, knowledge of the security system, familiarity with the family's communication patterns, and the ability to know precisely how long a silence would need to last before it required action. That person would be positioned in a way that very few others in this case are. She would know the threshold. She would know when to make the call. That must be clearly labeled as unconfirmed speculation. May be wrong. But it has not been ruled out by anything in the public record. Here is what I keep returning to. In every serious investigation, the people with the most intimate access to the victim's private world are treated as primary sources. Their accounts are verified. Their movements are confirmed. And when that process is complete, the public record reflects that it happened. This investigation's public record does not reflect that it happened with the babysitter. Not in any sourced reporting. Not in any HPD statement. She called. Officers responded. For people were found. And she has not been heard from publicly since. In a case this visible and this consequential, that silence is not a small gap. It is the loudest unanswered question in this entire case. And it is the question I have been sitting with since the very first day I looked at this story. Before the forensic gaps. Before the financial pressure. Before every other theory in this documentary, my attention kept returning to her. The woman who knew the silence had gone on long enough. Who knew, before thy own sister did, that something on Kingston Street was wrong. What did she know? When did she know it? And why has no one pushed hard enough to answer that publicly? Until those questions are answered, fully and on the record, this case is not closed. Regardless of what the official classification says. Thy deserved her sister's wedding. Maya deserved to grow up. Max deserved Monday morning. And if the answers to those questions lead somewhere the official record has not gone, they deserve every person watching this to keep asking. We do not look away here. Now let's get to what is confirmed. Not rumored. Not theorized. Confirmed. Matthew Mitchell was not an ordinary man. Before Traveler's Table, before the awards, before Houston knew his name, he spent 14 years as president and CEO of Texas Center for Drug Development, a clinical pharmaceutical research company. Not as a mid-level manager. At the top. running budgets, managing liability, making decisions that moved significant money in one of the most unforgiving industries that exists. Men who, a bright star in thy that they personally asked her to serve because they knew she would bring new ideas. And the week she died, she hosted a board meeting at Traveler's Table. 50 of Houston's top restaurateurs walked through her doors for that event. 50 people who represented the full landscape of the city's dining world. 2 days later, she was gone. Now here is the question every major outlet covering this case walked directly past. In an industry where board seats are limited, where press attention flows to the people at the top, where a single national television feature can change a restaurant's trajectory entirely, what does it feel like to watch someone rise the way Thy Mitchell rose? Not for the people who loved her. For the people competing for the same space she was occupying. This is not a comfortable question. But it is a necessary one. What is confirmed is this. Thy Mitchell's rise created a large orbit. Inside that orbit were competitors, former collaborators, people whose own concepts were being measured against hers, people who wanted the same board seat, the same recognition, the same national attention. That orbit has never been publicly examined as investigative territory. No outlet has confirmed that investigators formally mapped her professional relationships. No industry peer has been publicly identified as someone investigators spoke to regarding the world surrounding her ascent. The association released a statement mourning her. What was never released is any confirmation that her professional circle was treated the way standard investigative protocol demands it should be treated in a case involving a high-profile victim. That gap is not proof of anything. But it is a documented, publicly verifiable hole in an investigation that reached its conclusion before the questions were fully formed. Thy Mitchell stood at the top of her industry. And in the world she occupied, that position came with a shadow, made up of everyone who watched her rise and felt something other than admiration. Whether that shadow had anything to do with Sunday night is unknown. But whether anyone inside that shadow was ever seriously examined is also unknown. And those are two very different kinds of unknown. Only one of them should still be acceptable this long after 4 people were found on Kingston Street. The Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences confirmed that all 4 members of the Mitchell family were found with gunshot wounds to the head. Matthew Mitchell's death was ruled a suicide. Thy, Maya, and Maxwell's deaths were ruled homicides. That is on public record. Now here is what that record does not tell you. Those findings are completely consistent with the official story. But they are equally consistent with a staged scene. A third party who entered that home, took the lives of all 4 family members, and placed the firearm in Matthew Mitchell's hand would produce the exact same forensic result. Same medical examiner findings. Same manner of death rulings. One set of physical findings. 2 entirely different explanations for how they got there. The question that separates those 2 explanations comes down to forensic ballistics, gunshot residue analysis, and trajectory testing. And here is what the public record shows about those results. Nothing. Not one result has been publicly released. Not the gunshot residue findings from Matthew's hands. Not the ballistic trajectory confirming the angle was consistent with self-infliction. Not the positional analysis of where the firearm was found relative to his body. And yet HPD announced their conclusion. Murder-suicide, male suspect, within 24 hours of entering that home. 24 hours. For a scene involving 4 people and no living witness. A forensic process that normally takes days to weeks to complete. What specific evidence, available within that window, was sufficient to support a conclusion that's significant? That question has never been publicly answered. Now let us talk about the home itself. The Mitchell family had not lived on Kingston Street for long. A neighbor confirmed to local media she had only occasionally seen them outside. They were relatively new to the street. Short residence means a short list of people who knew that home's layout, entry points, security codes, and daily rhythms. A short, identifiable list. Now place that alongside this confirmed fact. No forced entry has been reported anywhere in the public record. No security alert was mentioned by HPD or any outlet. No neighbor reported an unusual vehicle or unfamiliar person near the property on Sunday night. For people were gone from that house. And nothing outside it moved in a way that anyone noticed. River Oaks is not an anonymous neighborhood. A 19-year resident told reporters she had never seen anything like this in her time on that street. It is the kind of community where an unfamiliar car parked too long gets noticed. And yet Sunday night produced nothing. That either means everything happened entirely inside those 4 walls. Or it means whoever was inside that house did not look out of place from the outside. Came through a door they already had the right to open. And left the same way. Both possibilities exist. Only one has been publicly investigated. So here is the question no outlet has formally asked. Who beyond the Mitchell family had access to that home? A key, a code, a standing invitation. That list is not long. And every name on it should have been identified and accounted for across the 18 to 24-hour window between Sunday night and Monday afternoon. Whether that was done has never been confirmed publicly. Now the financial picture. Because the pressure sitting beneath the Mitchell family's public success is one of the least examined dimensions of this case. In February 2026, just 3 months before her death, Di Mitchell sat down with Houston Matters specifically to discuss financial challenges facing the restaurant industry. That interview is on public record. At that same time, the Mitchells were running 2 restaurant locations, a clothing brand, a $1.2 million River Oaks home, and expecting a 3rd child. Unverified social media commentary has suggested gambling and personal debt may have been factors in Matthew's private life. That is unconfirmed and must be labeled as such. But the confirmed financial exposure produces legitimate questions. Who held their business debt? Who were their investors? Who stood to benefit, through insurance, business succession, or financial relief, from their deaths? These are standard questions in any investigation involving a business owner found dead under any circumstances. Whether they were asked and answered here has never been made public. And then there is the window. The family was last heard from Sunday night. The welfare check was placed Monday at 5:26 p.m. The official time of death is recorded as 6:11 p.m. Monday, a legal timestamp, not the actual moment lives ended. Forensic evidence places the actual time of death much closer to Sunday night. That creates a confirmed gap of at least 18 hours, possibly longer. For the official explanation, that window simply means the family was not immediately missed. For the alternative explanation, it means something operationally significant. Someone who entered Sunday night and left cleanly would have had 18 hours or more to establish distance, build an alibi, and allow that scene to settle before the first officer walked through the door. What did neighborhood cameras capture on Sunday night? What did doorbell footage on Kingston Street record? What did the home security system log show about when it was last accessed? If that footage was reviewed and cleared, the public record does not reflect it. In a neighborhood where nothing like this had happened in 19 years, that is not a minor gap. It is a direct question this investigation needs to answer publicly. Now there is one more figure sitting at the center of this case. Someone who had access to that home, knew the family's patterns intimately, and whose full account has never been made public. She is not a theory. She is a confirmed participant in the public record. And she has her own chapter entirely. Subscribe right now. Hit that bell. Because the next chapter is the one this entire documentary has been building toward. And when you hear what the confirmed record says about this person, and what it refuses to say, you will understand why she is the question nobody is asking. And why that silence may be the most important detail in this entire case. Something needs to be said directly, without softening it. This channel does not deal in sensation. When we cover a case this recent and this close to a community still grieving, the line between what is confirmed and what is not confirmed is not a stylistic choice. It is an ethical one. So let us draw that line clearly. Right here. Before we close out. Here is what is confirmed. Documented. Source. Undisputed. No suicide note. No released motive. No prior calls to that home. 4 gunshot wounds to the head. Both children found in their beds. A murder-suicide conclusion announced within 24 hours. An 18-hour window of undetected death. A babysitter who has never been named or quoted publicly. A 14-year pharmaceutical career that no investigative outlet has examined. A business empire under confirmed financial pressure. And a community of hundreds of professional contacts that produced not one behavioral warning sign from Matthew in the period leading up to Sunday night. Every one of those facts stands alone in the public record. None of them require a theory to be troubling. They require answers. Now here is what is not confirmed. That a third party staged the scene, unconfirmed. That professional jealousy motivated someone in this orbit, unconfirmed. That gambling debt or dangerous financial obligations played a role, unconfirmed and uncorroborated by any credible reporting. That the babysitter had foreknowledge or any involvement, unconfirmed with no publicly available evidence connecting her to any wrongdoing. Those are frameworks. Possible explanations for gaps the confirmed record leaves open. They are not conclusions. They are not accusations. And the Mitchell family, all 4 of them, deserve accuracy above everything else. Here is why that line matters more than anything. You do not need to believe a single theory in this documentary to find this investigation incomplete. You only need to read what is confirmed and notice what it leaves unanswered. The confirmed gaps do not need speculation to be significant. They need public, accountable answers from an investigation that announced its conclusion before the forensic process could have been finished. A classified case and a solved case are not the same thing. A case is solved when the evidence answers the questions, when the motive is established, when the forensic record is complete and public, when every alternative has been examined and the record shows it. The Mitchell case has been classified. The public record does not show it has been solved. Di deserved her sister's wedding. She deserved to meet her third child. Maya deserved to grow up. Max deserved Monday morning. If there is even a documented possibility that the full truth of Sunday night has not been told, then every unanswered question in this documentary is not content. It is the least we owe them. Subscribe right now. Hit that bell. Share this with someone who needs to see it. And as this investigation develops, as new details surface, as the forensic picture becomes clearer, we are going to be right here, reading every detail carefully, reporting only what is accurate, and asking every question this family deserves to have answered. We do not look away here.